Good day everyone and welcome back. We've got a really fun one for you today. So I just spent the last couple of days looking through Facebook Marketplace and I ended up finding this boat, this motor, and this trailer, and I picked it all up for just $450. So now we're gonna see if we could turn this into a fun fishing boat on a budget. The plan for this build is a bit excessive, so I've decided I'm gonna break it down into two parts. On this first one, we're gonna address the trailer, we're gonna get it refreshed and ready for the road, and we'll see if this motor's worth saving. And then on part two, we'll go over everything we're doing with the rest of the boat. It will be a little bit overkill. I'm gonna put some nice components on it, some lights, get some paint done, and we're gonna build a casting deck out of aluminum. So this should be a really fun one, but first, let's go ahead and wash this boat up. My neighbor does mobile detailing and he's agreed to help me wash it. So let's go meet him real quick.
Hey, what's up, man? This is Eddie with Eddie's Auto Detailing. This is a setup of my van. This is where I go do my mobile washes. I got my own water, my own power. I do interior steam cleaning, shampoo, exterior polish, paint correction, paint enhancement, anything you need that has to do with auto detailing. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, hell yeah.
This boy does incredible work too. I can't believe some of the cars I see in and out of his shop, but he's gonna help me out with the boat here. So let's get to it.
Let's get to it.
All right.
Let's do it.
Should we vacuum it first or?
Oh,
Say, don't get lost in the sauce.
I hear you talking at work to the boys in the gym, talking at the bar till I walk in. Baby, why won't you talk to me? Can't get your tongue when we're talking about what I need. Say what you will at the hardware store. Don't get you started talking about sports, baby. Why won't you talk to me?
All right, so now the boat's clean, it's dried, and I brought it back in my shop. So let's go ahead and get to it. And yeah, it's underneath the car. And we're gonna work right here for now. Unfortunately, I'm waiting for a transmission to arrive for this so I can swap it out, and I don't have much parking outside. So we're working with what we got. Let's get to it. All right, and there's the trailer. As you can see, the wiring is an absolute mess. There's another connection like that, which connects to one more, but that's okay. We'll get it all corrected. So for now, we have wiring to address. We'll get this thing situated. Then we gotta replace the rollers. Looks like all of them are bad. The bunk's wood is okay. Looks like we'll have to realign the bunk a little bit. Nothing crazy. And then I dropped the axle already. So this is my buddy Nick here. He's gonna take the bunks off and some of the other stuff while I go ahead and fish the wires the rest of the way through. Ready to go? Yeah, all right, let's do it. So now the wires for the taillights left and right side are all the way through. That just might be the easiest trailer I've ever rewired. I'm gonna go ahead and let the wires just hang out now. We're gonna finish stripping the rest of the components off of here and get this trailer painted, and then we'll wire in the new lights. Let's go. Wood doesn't even look in the bad shape. If you look here, these are the mounts for the bunks. These ones back here are for the front, these were for the rear. These ones are clearly bent, So I'm going to straighten these out for now, and then I'll replace them to this style later. Now that looks much better. I'm pretty certain that that'll last long enough for me to find some of these, but that'll do for now. I'm gonna just touch all the corners and hard to hit spots first, and then we'll paint the whole thing. Okay, now it's time to make a mess. We're gonna do the bearings here. Let me show you how that works. This is your hub for your trailer. And on the inside, on this side, as well as this side, you have these races. A lot of people will just swap out the bearings, but that's not the way to do it. You must also swap out these races. Pretty much all you need is a long screwdriver and a hammer. And then deep down in there, you can see the edge of the race in there. And then it's the same thing if you turn it over for this one. So let's go ahead and knock these out. All right, we got that seated on the vise. I'm gonna just use my air hammer punch. Normally I'd use my air hammer, but if you don't have an air hammer, you can use a long screwdriver or a normal punch, and boom, it's out. First side's done, let's do the other side. Grab the hammer, punch. It only takes a second and both races came out. This way you ensure the new bearings last as long as possible. All right, so now the races are out. What you need now is your new race and a bearing race or seal driver. Fits right on there. You see it just barely hits the lip here. It's gonna push that thing down when I hit on it with the hammer. All right, so now you wanna make sure your driver's on there. You wanna hold this as level as possible because we're knocking this thing down. And give it a good whack with the hammer. It's moving down. It went right down. You see that? And that's it. Now you see the new race is seated all the way at the bottom. So let's do the other side. That's him. You would use marine grease normally for a boat trailer, but I actually ran out and we're just gonna do this, it'll be fine. You see there's no grease in here whatsoever. We're gonna stick it right on the middle of this. We're gonna put this right on that. So you push down on it and then you look. All of the grease came right through the bearing and is oozing out, so you know that bearing is packed properly. Put it on the back side of the hub and then we'll get a seal on it. So grab a little more grease. This one's small. I could probably actually put this one in by hand. Let's see. Ooh. This one's good to go. So now we'll put the bearing for the front. Same thing. Good grease all the way around. Set this one in. Now this is the other side, so it doesn't get a seal. It gets a cap over it. I'll show you just a second. But listen, that's the old bearings. Hear that? Much smoother. That's the way a bearing should spin. Nice and free, no grinding, no nothing. But out here, all you need now is just a cotter pin. One tab bent up, the other one cut off. Makes it easy to remove later. That's it. Oh, I wonder what could be in this box. Oh, wow, look at that. Brand new rims. That wheel's so tiny. It's kind of cute. A lot of these lights are grounded through here, so you have to clean your contact points inside the screw holes. And then when you put your ground to the front of the trailer, the light receives that same ground. So I'm gonna use this brass brush to scrape off the paint on the holes. The brown and green, always go with the brown and green. And then if you look at the back of the light, it'll tell you curbside or street side. Brown to brown, green to green. Okay, so now on the street side, we're gonna put the brown and yellow to the brown, and that's clearly not yellow. You know what? I probably should have started with this, because what good is a boat if you don't have a working motor? That's okay, we'll do it now. When you want to check an engine to make sure it's healthy enough to try to run, you'll want to do these checks, and here's how you do them. These are cheap spark testers. You just plug it in line between the coil and the spark plug, and they'll light up if it's got good spark. And then this here is a compression test tool. It has a gauge to show you the compression within each cylinder. Because the pull cord is broken for the pull start, we will be using a hand drill with a 3/8 drive bit in it, turning a 7/8 of an inch socket. And if you can, while working on any kind of engine, get yourself a manual. There's lots of useful information in them. All right, let's inspect the motor. So first thing I noticed right off top when I opened it, yep, right there. This fuel line is in a bad position, and it's definitely causing issues to close it. The next thing I noticed is right underneath it. You see that bolt? That one's loose. Then I looked in here. There's an E-clip there. I didn't know where it went to, but I started fidgeting with the idle speed control knob. It was definitely for that. But that's okay. Got one on Amazon for $20. And there's definitely issues going on with this. Of this entire engine, this is probably the most concerning piece of it to me. I might have to open this up and recoil that spring. That is a big pain, but it can be done. So now that we know what's going on, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten these few bolts that I found loose, and then we'll run the compression check and check for spark. And then if it all looks good, we'll try to start it from there. All right, let's see if we can tighten that screw. We can turn it by hand. All right, that should be good. Yeah, that was pretty loose. Let's tighten them all up. Loose. Loose. That was loose. Yeah, they were all loose. That's okay. All right, so now we have a snap ring to lock this thing in. Let's get it in. I've got the screw adjusted to about what I think it should be at. Let's see. There we go. So now that screws in there nice. So now we have the drill with the 7/8 of an inch socket. We're gonna put it right here on the flywheel and let her rip. We're gonna look for spark in this tube and this tube. Here we go. Spark's looking good in both. Okay, just pulled the plugs out. All right. So now we're gonna crank this around the same way with the drill to see what kind of compression we have in the top cylinder. We're looking at just over 120 PSI. That is excellent compression. Let's see if it's close on the other one. It doesn't have to be exact on the second one, but we want it very close. Cylinder number 2, or the bottom cylinder. Look at that, dead even. This one's also at 120 PSI. That's excellent. The new spark plugs won't arrive until tomorrow, so I popped the old ones back in. I primed the fuel and the bulb is hard. Let's see if we can get it to pop or start or something. All right, here we go. Take one. Maybe the choke. Hey, there we go. And well, with that was just enough for me to say, I can save it. And now that we know the motor is good, I think we're gonna call it for part 1. The engine's gonna need a little bit more detailed work. I also found a crack in the side of the midsection. It was bonded over, but I knocked it off, so it's gonna be a little bit more detailed, and I don't want the video to be too long, so we're gonna call it right here. And in part 2, we're gonna go over the rest of the restoration of this engine, and we'll go over the full details and the full job of what we do with the whole of the boat. The whole plan is to build a casting deck here out of aluminum. We're gonna put wood over it, have a door, and turn that section into storage. I'm gonna add a bilge pump, some lights, some paint, some carpet, the works. And I wanna share it all with you guys, but I don't want the video to be too long, so we'll save that for part 2. So for now, the last thing, I had plans to sell this boat originally, but I wanted to get your insight. Tell me in the comments, do you think I should sell it? Or do you think I should try to finish it rapidly? And then maybe, just maybe, I see you guys at the street fair and I can raffle it off. Maybe one of you guys could take it home. I think that'd be fun. Let me know what you think in the comments. I'll see you soon for part 2.